Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling lake, lived a young boy named Finn. Now, Finn was no ordinary boy. You see, Finn had a secret. He could understand what the wind was saying. "Beware, villagers, beware," the wind cried. "The wind just told me that the lake is going to flood and destroy our village." His parents, however, didn't seem too worried. Together, they climbed the tallest hill in the village, and from there they watched as the floodwaters poured over the land. They looked to Finn and his family and thanked them for saving them from the flood, and that's the end of that. From that day forward, Finn was no longer considered a crazy, imaginative boy. He was a hero. Houses were washed away, trees were uprooted, and the once peaceful village was in chaos. This could be anything from not paying attention to a warning light on your car's dashboard, to ignoring the signs that you need to take a break from work. It might just save you from a bigger headache down the road. So, what are you waiting for? Go out there and start paying attention to the signs. Who knows what you might discover when we ignore these small signs? We're essentially turning up the volume on whatever it is that we're avoiding, making it louder and more difficult to deal with later on. But if we pay attention to the signs and address them right away, we can prevent them from becoming bigger problems. Oh, Finn, you and your wild imagination. His mom said with a gentle smile. The world around us is always communicating with us, but we often don't know what to look for or how to listen. However, by paying attention to the signs, we can learn a lot and even save ourselves from danger. For example, if you live in a place where there are hurricanes, you should pay attention to the weather forecast and the signs that a storm is coming. If you ignore these signs and don't take the necessary precautions, you could end up in a bad situation. But if you pay attention and heed the warnings, you can stay safe. The lake won't flood. Why would you even think that? But Finn insisted. I'm telling you, the wind said it would happen. Please believe me, the peaceful waters you enjoy will soon turn into a raging torrent, causing great destruction. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. As he approached, he saw a dark cloud forming in the distance. It was unlike any cloud he'd ever seen before, and it seemed to be floating closer and closer. Soon, the entire sky was filled with dark clouds and the wind began to howl. Huge waves crashed into the shore, and the water level started to rise. Sure enough, the lake was flooding, and the wind's warning was coming true. The wind's voice was like the sound of crashing waves, loud and commanding. Alarmed by what he heard, Finn raced home and burst through the door. Whenever the wind rustled through the trees or whispered through the tall grasses, Finn could make out the words it was saying. But he was the only one in the village who had this gift, and most folks didn't even believe him when he told them about it. One day, as Finn was playing by the lake, he heard the wind pick up speed. It swirled and danced around him, and then it spoke. "Mom, Dad, we're in danger," he shouted. Breathless, determined to prove his parents wrong, Finn ran back to the lake. Now, people began to run for higher ground, and Finn's parents finally believed him. But as the sun began to set, the rain slowly stopped, and the villagers emerged from their hiding spots to survey the damage. And whenever the wind whispered through the village, the people listened closely, for they knew that if they did, it might just be telling them something important. Now, while this is a made-up story, it does have a very important lesson for us all. It's the same with our everyday lives. We often face small challenges that require our attention, but we tend to ignore them until they become big problems. So, the next time you notice something out of the ordinary, take the time to investigate. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an upload.